Man, I just landed and I kicked the hell out of this disc. Start out with a little bit of a shake. This one's gonna be a little bit of anyways, let's just get right. I ain't even gonna finish that sentence, y'all. I just got a whole lot of questions to ask, okay? I got a whole lot of questions. Maybe these are some questions y'all be thinking about. Maybe not. Let me do that real quick. Boom. Alright. I've got a couple of questions, right? Actually, I've just got one question that leads to a lot of questions. The rigidity of words. Is rigidity a word? Actually, it is now. Fuck it. If it isn't, it is now. The rigidity of words. Yeah. How rigid are a lot of words? Like the words that have a role of governing concepts that we then also assume are set in stone. You know what I mean? Like the word truth. The word truth is not as rigid as it kind of comes off as if you really think about it. Because something that's true today might not be true tomorrow. But just because it's not true tomorrow doesn't mean it wasn't true today. Could be complete opposites. But at both points, the things that are in current existence are both regarded as truth. You know what I'm saying? So if someone comes up to you and says, this is the truth, is it though? It might be now, it might be for them, but is it actually the truth, right? Now let's peel back this skin over here like the rind of an orange and go a little bit deeper, okay? Let's talk about the concepts of good and bad. Yeah. I thought we come here for jokes. Nah. See, I hit you with the little 1-2 punch, get you feeling a little bit dizzy, and then bam, knockout punch, hit you with some real things to think about. Right? Thought you were coming here to laugh. Nah. Take your notebook out. Almost called you stupid. You would be if you don't take that notebook out. Don't be stupid, because that's a nice thing to do. Can I do the whole link in the cards thing? Where I got a point. Where I got a point. When I say something is good, right? Good to what end is the question that I ultimately end up asking, right? Because it's like, okay, now for example, let's say, okay, let's do it like this, right? No one wants to fail their test, right? If you're in tertiary, if you're in a school, anywhere where you gotta be, where you gotta write a test, you don't want to fail that test, right? Why? Because let's say on an evolutionary level, right? Failing your test means that you die. That's what that means, man. I don't know what y'all thought I was going to say, but I was going to say exactly what it is. I'm telling you exactly what your subconscious brain is thinking. I'm not even talking to you right now. I'm talking to your subconscious brain that just woke up. It's like, oh shit, he knows I'm here. Yes, I do. I know you're here and you're watching. And that's how the subconscious brain rationalizes. You forget your pen for that test, it equals in you dying, right? Sounds very hyperbolic, but really that's what it is. And I mean, you can break it down the steps that would lead from you forgetting a pen for a test to you dying sooner. Let's say it like that, dying sooner, all right? Those you forget your pen, you can't write your test. You can't write your test, you fail the test. You fail the test, you fail the grade. You fail the grade, you gotta stay back. You stay back, you can't get a job as soon. You see what I'm saying? So long story short, you lose a pen or you forget a pen for a test and you die. All right. And therefore, forgetting a pen for a test is bad. Why is it bad? Because ultimately, you're going to die sooner. Right. Why is dying sooner bad? Because on a very physical plane type of level, you need to survive long enough to reproduce, continue on the species, right? That's kind of like the most universal conclusion that we can probably all draw, right? Something we can all agree on, right? That a lot of stuff wouldn't really feel necessary or important if we didn't have that one thing to strive for, which is that, right? So that would be then in essence ultimate good. So everything in between, right? Everything in between would then form the spectrum of what is good. Let's say good is just on this side of the spectrum, and everything that is bad is on that side of the spectrum, right? And then life happens right here in the middle, okay? And depending on what you do, the actions that you take, you fall somewhere on the spectrum, right? But now the question is, this for me how I throw everything up in the air, right? Why is living long enough to reproduce a good thing, and why is getting your life, let's say, shortened, like instantly even, a bad thing, all right? Well, because dying is kind of bad. It makes people not feel good. If you're, a breadwinner to society, or I get it, some of these things, they don't translate to every type of person, but these are usually the things that we might say to ourselves to rationalize. You know what I mean? Why though are these things bad, or why though are these things good? Because if we extrapolate, right, is what's good for the human good for everything, right? Because obviously a lot of the stuff that we derive as being good or bad only come from a very human centric point of view, right? I think we can all agree that the more humans they are on the planet, the less happy, let's say, livestock are, right? What's good for the human is not necessarily good for the cow, put it that way, right? And if we extrapolate even further, right, if global warming happens, let's say it's taken to the nth degree, we just don't stop, cool. Man, I'm sounding like a real environmentalist right now, huh? I drive a diesel car. Anyways, diesel cars, they slap. Engines sound like magic to the ear, sound like animals, all right? All right? We're not killing the animals, we're making them, and we're making them out of metal. You know how hard that sounds? I don't even know what that means. If someone like just tuned in right now, I don't know why you'd open this video. I just cut it right smack bang to that very sentence. But hey, if you did, yo, you just did something really cool because you heard a fire sentence without any context. And I'll go back and then realize that, damn, this dude is might be a little off his rockers. Welcome to the party. Boom. What was I even saying? Damn, yo, that's what happens when I just be firing off the hip, lose my train of thought. Give me a second. I have all the time in the world to think and then edit out all the pause. So I'm gonna just, yeah, that thought is gone. Damn. I want to watch this thing back and be like, man, stupid. That was such a fire thought I was on. Anyways, I might have to take y'all on a different thought, right? Bring y'all right back though. Right? The way that we conceptualize good and bad is from a very human centric point of view, okay? That's just what it is. Like that, like you can't say otherwise. But let's say, boom, global warming. That's where I was. If we take, let's say, human activities to the nth degree, right, with global warming, fuck everything up, gray skies for weeks on end, you know what I mean? It's raining black snow, floods everywhere, just turmoil, like natural disasters upon natural disasters, because the earth done had enough of our shenanigans, right? Why would the general zeitgeist deem that a bad thing? Because it's not conducive for human survival, right? My question is, does the universe need humans more than it needs the planet Earth? Right? I'm asking y'all to do something very crazy right now. I'm asking yourselves to not just take yourself out of yourself, but take yourselves out of your entire being and just try and look at humanity as not a human being. I think the way that this is always kind of visualized in a rather cool way. I'm about to plug something that if y'all not doing this, you should definitely do it, is comics. All right. Especially when you get to these like really metatextual type of characters, right? Let's look at Marvel, right? You have the One Above All, you have the Living Tribunals, you have Oblivion, the upper echelon of characters, all my comic nerds. Right? You have these types of characters. And what's so interesting about these types of characters, right? Preface on a preface. So, Marvel has a hierarchy of pantheons, right? So you have like these universal concepts, right? Which is like the One Above All, which is the Living Tribunal, which is eternity, oblivion, which are like these beings that represent concepts, right? If you kill eternity, then nothing exists, right? I guess you could, nah, not with like, okay, anyways, right? Eternity was like one of the only examples where that actually is applicable. But boom, right? And then lower than that, you have, I guess, the gods that human beings on the planets like actively worship. They get represented in comics too, like the ones you'd expect, like your Greek pantheons, your Thors, and your Norse mythology type. You know what I'm saying? You've got your Vishnus, you've got all your Indian pantheon gods, which take up most of the space. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. The Indians, y'all worship a lot of gods, man. Y'all worship a lot of gods, and you know what? I don't even be busting your chops for it. I just look at it as y'all are just very grateful for a lot of things, right? So grateful that you take it to that degree. And hey, maybe it's just a sign that a lot of us need to be more grateful for the stuff that's around us, right? Right? Can I get one of these? Are we good? Hell yeah. I felt that through the screen. So, boom, right? Check me out. So, you got this hierarchy, right? And the hierarchy of gods that we are more familiar with, they kind of function the way that it's very human centric, right? They do things based off emotions, how they feel, XYZ, XYZ. But then the pantheon above that, or like the echelon of entities, not even really called gods, just entities above that, they do something really interesting where they live outside of concepts that are very human centric, like good and bad, like accounting for time, things like that just don't exist. They just is and what isn't, and what should be and what shouldn't be, right? They will go and ask someone who is supposedly supposed to be a good guy in a story, but because he just disturbs the balance, right? That's what we're coming to. He just disturbs the balance. It's a problem. It's a good guy. Let's say it's Superman, right? Now we're jumping companies over here. Now we're in DC, right? Let's say it's Superman. Okay, Superman 1 million, right? Let's say he existed in Marvel, because the Marvel entities care a lot more about balance than like the DC ones, it seems. He was now in the Marvel's universe, comic universe, and they were like, this dude is just he's now at a level of power that is comparable to ours, and that disturbs the balance. We got to get this dude out of here. Superman had no intentions to do any ill. In fact, he was gonna go straight to Earth and cure cancer and let people live on, right? But then one of the entities will be like, you can't just go and cure death, because we're going to have a whole host of other problems on our hands. By the way, speaking of curing death and things like that, Thanos, MCU, stupid ass dude, by the way. Stupid. I'm going to write that down. That's something I got to speak on. Boom. So, cool. You know what I mean? These entities function more from a place of balance, right? Which, when I extrapolated all of these questions, or the main question, I guess, that I started this whole thing off, right? When I extrapolated and I got down far enough, I stopped at this point where I realized that, okay, I have to be willing to accept the possibility, the reality that there is no such thing as good and bad, but ultimate good is balance. Think about that. But while you're thinking about that, just understand one thing and one thing only. Chloe's trying to bust down my door, and we are just chatting, y'all. She.